If you are an international medical graduate and you need to apply for the USMLEs, it can be a very long and confusing process doing that through ECFMG. So in this video, I'll be focusing on a step-by-step guide on how you can register for the USMLE. I will also let you know easy ways that you can speed up the process of getting your exam permit. So if you like this type of content, ensure that you press the like button, hit subscribe, and that notification bell so that you never miss another video like this. So let's begin the step-by-step guide on how you can apply for the USMLE exams. So the first thing that you need to do is to ensure that your medical school is listed on the World Directory of Medical Schools and it is eligible to receive ECFMG certification. It is always important to check the eligibility of your medical school first, because all fees paid to the ECFMG are non-refundable, and checking if your medical school is eligible to get ECFMG certification is not something that ECFMG does for you, so you have to go ahead and double check that first on your own. So all you have to do is go into Google and type in World Directory of Medical Schools, and it should be like the first search option that pops up. And this is what the website should look like. All you have to do is input the information for your medical school. Another crucial step is to ensure that you have a valid passport. Your passport needs to be unexpired with the accurate spelling of your name. It's important that the name is accurate. Why? Because for some people, they have a different name on their passport versus on their medical diploma or degree. If that is the case, it will be a bit longer for you in the process of application because the ECFMG has to verify that the person on the passport and the person who received the medical diploma are the same person. So you will have to provide proof of this. It's also important to note that whatever name you register with the ECFMG is a name that will be printed on your USMLE exam permit. And when you do your USMLE exams, you have to bring a valid ID with you, which is preferably a passport or a driver's license. So the name has to match. So be sure that you pay attention to this. The next thing that you want to do is to ensure that you have a valid credit card. The ECFMG states that they accept Visa, MasterCard, or Discover cards. This is important because this is how you will actually pay for your USMLE exams and the additional ECFMG fees. However, if you do not have a credit card that is a Visa, MasterCard, or Discover, then don't worry because there are other payment options. ECFMG says that they accept a checking account at a US bank, or you can submit a Form 900. So the Form 900 should look like this, and you'll need to fill it out and submit it to ECFMG, which again will take a bit longer. So once you verify that your medical school can receive ECFMG certification and you have your passport, your ID, what you now need to go ahead and do is get an ECFMG ID number. It's very important that while going through this process that you read all of the instructions very carefully. To get an ECFMG ID number, all you need to do is go to ECFMG IWA and create an account there so that you can get an ECFMG ID number. Of course, if you already have an ECFMG ID number, then you can just skip this step. But for everyone else, this is what the webpage should look like. So this is the online services for ECFMG, and IWA stands for Interactive Web Applications. So if you've never registered for an ECFMG ID number, then all you have to do is click this button right here and start the process. So once you have completed the online portion of the registration, you then have to get the Form 186. Again, read the instructions very carefully. I always recommend that you do this because the ECFMG can instill different changes, and typically anything done by the ECFMG takes at least 2 weeks. So let's say that you submitted your Form 186. It's going to take at least 2 weeks for them to notify you, hey, it is good or it's not good. If you did not read the instructions carefully and made a mistake, that's just another 2 weeks for you to redo it and resubmit it. But two important points that you need to know is that the application will not be considered complete until both the online part and the Form 186 have arrived at ECFMG. Also, the Form 186 must be received at ECFMG within 4 months of the date that you submitted the online part of the application. So you can't submit your online part of your application in January, then submit Form 186 in August. That point, 4 months has well passed and you have to just redo the process or contact them directly to find out what solution will be best for you. Another important point to note is that for the Form 186, this will require notarization. So ECFMG typically does this through Notary, and currently that costs $50. So this is where you can do it from the comfort of your home. You just schedule an online appointment with Notary to get the Form 186 notarized. So now let's take a closer look at how to submit your online application for the USMLE exam. So again, you have to go on IWA and then you will select begin a new application for the USMLE Step 1 and or the Step 2 CK. So it can be quite lengthy to complete this application, but the instructions are very clear. Just follow it step by step to complete your new application for the USMLE Step 1 or the Step 2 CK. It's important to note that when you apply for these exams, you have to pay for them right then and there. Currently, for 2022, it costs $985 to do the USMLE Step 1 or the USMLE Step 2 CK in the United States. If you are doing it outside of the United States, then you have to pay an additional international test delivery fee that can be around $210. So if you are doing the USMLE Step 1 or the USMLE Step 2 CK outside of the United States, this will cost around $1,200. It's also important to note that when you are applying for these exams, you have to select an eligibility period. It is typically a 3-month eligibility period like January, February, March. If you select January, February, March for your eligibility period, but you can't do it within that time and need to extend it, that will cost an additional $100 per exam. If you register to do your exam in, let's say, Germany, but now you need to change it to the United States or to India, you'll have to pay an additional $90 to change the region of your exam. If you want a video that breaks down the entire cost of the full USMLE journey from applying to exams to getting into residency, then you can just watch this video right here. But an important point that I made in that video was that if you are applying for an exam, just make sure that you quickly have a rough draft of a schedule or timetable of things that, different resources that you need to cover and how long it'll take you to cover it so that you pick a fairly accurate eligibility period so you can avoid giving ECFMG free money for no reason. Just plan a bit ahead and then select the appropriate eligibility period. It's even better when you do a practice test before so you can know how close your chances are of passing if you're doing the USMLE Step 1 or how far off you are from your goal score for the USMLE Step 2 CK. So that way it's even more accurate. But it's important that you don't wait too long, because if you do wait too long, then what can happen is that you will get a delayed exam permit. It might take a bit longer for you to get your exam permit. So keep that in mind. So after you've filled out this online application for the new exam, the next thing that you need to do is to check with your medical school. So this is why it's important to read instructions carefully. So you have to contact your medical school because oftentimes after you submit your application on ECFMG, the medical school have to verify your status again to say that, hey, this person was actually a student. Or sometimes they even have to submit a package to ECFMG that includes like your transcript, your translated diploma, and your MSPE. This can take a while depending on how fast your medical school works. So oftentimes what happens to students is that they submit their application, they're checking their email every day saying, hey, where's my exam permit? Where's my exam permit? when their medical school hasn't even started doing this part. So please don't forget this. So after your medical school submits that information to ECFMG, ECFMG then has to verify it or approve that info. And that is when you get your exam permit from ECFMG. It will be sent to your email address that you registered with when getting your ECFMG ID. This exam permit will have a scheduling number on it that you can use to enter into prometric.com to schedule the exact date of your USMLE exam. So you cannot schedule your exam date until you get your exam permit. So now let's take a closer look at the top 2 reasons for delays in applicants getting their exam permits. The first one is their medical school. So oftentimes applicants think that once they're applying with the ECFMG, everything just falls onto ECFMG and they're just so hyper-focused on them and neglecting the fact that, hey, your medical school also has a responsibility. And oftentimes you have to consistently remind them that, hey, I need this to be done so I can do my exams. So always reach out to both parties, ECFMG and the medical school, to find out where the holdup is in your application. And the next reason for delays is, of course, the ECFMG that, they have to confirm your documents and submit your exam permit. But let's say that you're applying for the USMLE exam in July, August, which is right before residency applications need to be submitted. Oftentimes, the ECFMG gets so many applications that this is where most of the delays take place. So bear this in mind. I highly recommend that instead of going onto a Facebook group or Reddit or even commenting on a YouTube channel asking about why your exam permit is taking so long or how long should you wait, just contact ECFMG directly. They are the ones that can give you the most accurate information, and it makes no sense getting random information from a stranger on the internet. You have to contact your medical school directly. You have to contact ECFMG and provide them with your ECFMG ID number and information so they can give you specific reasons on why your application is taking so long. It can be hard to contact the ECFMG, but it's try again until someone answers. And if you want to learn more about the USMLE process, all you have to do is click this video right here.